Hello, love. Welcome to Feeling Fridays here on the Libran Key. These are messages for the highest and the greatest good and in the highest and greatest truth of the empath journey and the empath collective here on Mama Gaia. Know that if these messages find you or you find them, depending on how you look at it, that there is something here for you. That is always the intention that I put into these messages. Always timely, yet timeless. Thank you, family, for being here with us in this space. And if you are just coming across this video or this channel for the first time, a very warm and loving welcome to each and every one of you. We have the energy of the crow and raven spirits coming through for this Feeling Fridays message. Quickly, before I get into it, they're reminding me, communication. I am recording this on Tuesday, July the 9th, and posting this for Friday, July 12th. And moving forward into the next few weeks, I will be doing this. I will be giving the day that I am recording this, because I'm being directed, well, it's twofold, the reason why this is happening. One is that I will be going on a sort of, well, let's just say, maybe pilgrimage of sorts. I will be away from any kind of, intentionally, any kind of computer uploading, I won't be completely fully disconnected, but pretty much minimal. In terms of when I say disconnection, I mean from online technology. It's a disconnect to connect, essentially. So in lieu of all that, I still want these messages to be going out for each and every one of us. And I will be pre-recording them in terms of not the day of, or sometimes I do them the day before, simply because of scheduling, all the 3D fun stuff. So basically, I will be going forward for that being one reason as to why I will be saying that. So you'll see that in the next few videos, they will mostly be recorded in July, even though these messages will be going out for August as well, the beginning of August. Okay, so that's the first thing. The second thing is Spirit, my guides have been directing me to do this. Almost like I'm literally getting captain's log. That's what I'm doing. Star date, yada, yada, yada. For all of us Star Trek fans, especially with the original Star Trek, okay? Well, the Next Generation for me, that's what I grew up with. So I'm getting a lot of, Spirit is guiding me to do this for whatever reason. They're hinting at the fact that, well, essentially they're saying you don't really need to know much about it except for the fact that you need to start recording these things. There's significance in the dates. 3:33, as I say that on the timer, there's significance in the dates is what I should say. And they're actually bringing that up for each and every one of us. Something in the dates, something in recording all the things that are going on in our lives. I'm even hearing the word synchronicities, keeping track of them, understanding. And it's interesting because I will be asking for this message from the numerology guidance cards. And I've spoken of this before, and this is a message that has come through as well with regard to the time construct here on Mama Gaia, our calendar time in conjunction with cyclical time, all of it being relevant and all of it being significant. My guide Spirit really emphasizing the fact that not one is better than the other, even though there are certain people who refuse to accept calendar time, right? Who work completely with cyclical time. And there is significance in that as well. Okay, this is not to exclude anyone. Essentially, and this being the Libran key, this is about incorporating everybody and taking into account everything, all of it in harmony, all for the highest and greatest form of harmony that we can that we essentially are working towards on this ascension journey, which is a frequency in and of itself. So I'm going to just end it there because that's a whole other message that wants to come through. So just wanted to mention that. Thank you, Crow Spirit. Thank you, Raven Spirit, for, especially the Crow Spirit coming through for that, to remind me to mention this, because I did want to mention it in the previous message and I have not. Okay. So moving forward, this Feeling Friday's message is going to be about the alchemy of healing and the alchemization of emotions. This is what the Raven and the Crow in combination want to bring forward for this message. And we'll be asking through the numerology guidance cards and through the Light Seers Tarot. And I am working with the energies here of black tourmaline and labradorite. Okay. Very much connected to Crow and Raven energy. Especially, they're showing me, interestingly enough, how labradorite and black tourmaline overlap, kind of the way that calendar time and cyclical time overlaps, in terms of the energy of grounding, the energy of protection, but the energy of magic, okay, and alchemy. They're showing me labradorite and its flash, the feldspar that we see in labradorite, the flash of different colors that we see in that, as a kind of way of understanding alchemy, and especially alchemizing shadow into light, or shedding light on the darkness. And that our emotions, if we want to look at it, they're giving me an analogy here of the emotions being in the dark space. And when I say this again, by now, if you've been here long enough for a hot minute, you know that when I say darkness here, I'm not using that word synonymously with evil. This is void space. This is psyche. This is the energies of the underworld in the psyche sense, in the shadow sense. And essentially, alchemy, in its highest form, in one of its highest forms, is the alchemization or the transmutation of shadow energy into enlightenment, into light consciousness. And I'm using light here in terms of consciousness. That's all they want me to say. And now they want me to get to the cards. And that's pretty much it. So there will be something I feel this message feels like it is an activation message. And they are nodding to that. Okay, interesting. We have forgiveness as I cut the deck. And they're showing me backs up against a wall with this 96 coming out, because it's like a flipped version of 69, or the energy and the hieroglyph of Cancer. Which I will just display here for a moment. So this is the glyph of Cancer. And we are currently in Cancer season as I record this, okay? And also it's a 9-day, it's July the 9th, 7 and 9, adding that together, you get a 16 and 7. Okay, so they're telling me this is the energy of going deeper into this sort of energy right here, okay? And interestingly enough, this is about personal development specifically, because they're pointing me back to the fact that we are in an 8 year. And again, you see how they're bringing in this calendar time in relation to cyclical time? They're showing me actually astrology and the fact that the sun is in Cancer as an example of cyclical time and how we can follow cyclical time. Also, the moon is part of this as well, in terms of understanding time being reflected back to us, consciousness also being reflected back to us, and the phases of that with the moon. That's a whole other conversation. That's a whole other exploration, which we're just going to not get into, but if you know, you know, so I'm going to leave it at that. So this forgiveness energy coming out here with 96 as opposed to 69, something is being mirrored back to us here. The fact that, okay, they're pointing me to Ted Andrews in The Occult Christ, speaking about Cancer season and the merging of the divine masculine with the divine feminine in Cancer season, with the summer energies and the summer solstice, okay? What I'm actually hearing is this about forgiveness of self, forgiveness of being too harsh, forgiveness of being too soft, the judgment that comes with that. Some of us working more naturally in our masculine energies and perhaps reprimanding ourselves for that. I'm speaking very specific to the time right now, this present moment that this message is coming through. So whenever this is pinging for you and applying to you, take it. This is sort of a timeless aspect of it, being in the present moment. Some of us having difficulty with taking on more divinely feminine energies, working with divine feminine energies, feeling bad about that, or the reverse, right? Being very divinely feminine naturally in nature, taking on more, knowing you need to set up healthier boundaries, knowing that you need to perhaps become a bit more of a no person, and struggling with that, okay? I'm hearing this is all matter to work with, matter to alchemize. These are energies to alchemize. I'm hearing into matter. The way that the alchemist traditionally transmutes energies into gold. There's gold in the gunk, is what I'm hearing. Moderation. 14. The energy of also movement here. The energy of balance, moderation, but this also reduces to a 5, right? So we're talking about alchemy again. They're actually showing me that the number 5 is very alchemical, okay? Number 5 is an energy of alchemy because it is through crisis that we get opportunity. That is what the 5 represents. So this is specifically pointing to the things that we call negative, the things that we look at as dark, the things that we see as shadow-like. And how awareness around these things is the first step to the alchemization of them. And they're really pointing me to simply an energy. This may resonate with some of you, but this is really what they want to bring through, of simply starting before you're even ready. Taking that first step is awareness. And then it's about transmuting the fear. Communication 33. Okay, so I'm hearing 2 things here. First and foremost, how are you communicating to yourself? Okay, so this is addressing programming and indoctrination in terms of the ways that we repeat things unconsciously to ourselves, or how we actually differentiate ourselves from others and treat others differently from us. Specifically, again, this is relating to the Empath Journey and the Empath Collective. This is for empaths specifically, okay? Empaths have a tendency to put others ahead of themselves, or outsource others, or put others on a pedestal before they honor and cherish and love themselves. So how are you communicating to yourself in that way? How are you communicating self-love? What are you doing for yourself? Okay, this is very random, but nothing is ever random, but this is coming out because this is something that I recently came across, just very, in my stratosphere. If you're familiar with your Venus sign in your natal chart, this is for those of us that are astrologically inclined, but you can look this up. One of my favorite sites for this is AstroSeek. So go to AstroSeek. I know there's a whole bunch where you can get your natal chart to pop up. You put in your date of birth, and for your natal Venus, you do not need to know the birth time. Although it adds another layer if you do, because then you know the house placement of Venus, which is also significant. Your Venus sign is a good indication to how you can begin to peel back the layers of this existential onion, peel back the layers of your soul, of your understanding around self-love, your self-love journey. And the things especially that you can do, the practices that you can do to honor self-love, to show to your body, your soul, because remember, the body is always a barometer. and a big part of this and a huge significant aspect of this journey. And Venus, of course, associated with the body, right? How can you begin to do practices through your own body to show self-love? So I'll give you an example. This has to do with rulership of the body parts in astrology, okay? Ways that we can move our body or tend to areas in our body in relation to the sign that Venus is in our charts, and also the house, okay? If that is available to you too. Some of this you're going to be able to intuit right off the bat, okay? So I'll give you an example in general that they're giving to me right now. So the fire signs, okay? So if you have a Venus placement in Aries, Leo, or Sagittarius, physical activity is going to be important to you with regard to, they're even saying, oh, this is interesting. Okay, I'll get to that in a second. Physical activity is going to be important to you with regard to how you show yourself self-love. Now, how that's going to look for you and for each and every one of us is going to be very different, okay? And interestingly enough, they're also showing me that there are different degrees to which this is in each actual sign. They're showing it for me a lot more active if you've got Aries Venus or Sag Venus because of what they represent, whereas Leo Venus is going to be slightly different is how they're showing it to me. That's just a little intricate aside, okay? But I'm seeing, what's interesting is when you take those all elementally into play, in each of those elements and each of those signs, whether it's Aries, Leo, Sag, and remember, this is just one example I'm giving, they tend to be independent in terms of how they are physically active. I would think that a Sagittarian, yeah, like I could see a Sagittarius energy being more team-oriented to team sports and things like that. And even Aries, but I can see Aries taking on a more leadership type role. Sag too, and Leo, where like they're all kind of, they all have that dynamism, but Leo energy seems to be a little bit more solo, right? So explore this, okay? See, but leadership as well. There's some kind of real fun here. Have fun with it, play with it is what they're showing me, okay? That's the first part of this. The second part of this is really directing me to any kind of compromised energy. And I know that Sarah Caldy has spoken on this. I came across that. I think I've mentioned it before in a video I did like months ago with regard to compromised will, or the compromised will center, okay? 33 is a master number. This is a master number of bringing, one of the things is bringing this back into balance. So, and specifically with this coming out with communication, we're talking about how are you communicating to yourself about what you have the willpower to do, or what you are willing to do to make these changes. Because there is a shadow energy that they're showing me with regard to it affecting our will, okay? Affecting our will. Yeah, 44, look at that environment at the bottom of the deck. Okay, so interestingly enough, they're giving me an image here. We got two master numbers coming out here. Okay, I consider 44 a master number. I know not everybody does, but, and there's not that many 44 also life paths kind of thing, right? Okay, anyway, in terms of the time period now. But what they're showing me is so much of this comes from our environment. Compromised will, programming, indoctrination. The shadow work is in demystifying these things or debunking them, is how the crow spirit and the raven spirit are coming in to speak to this. And the crow spirit is bringing a very, wanting us to kind of play here, visualize, daydream, imagine, and they're giving me a very what if energy. Like, how would you see yourself as a master alchemizer of emotions? That's how they're giving it to me. They're showing me an energy of you imagining a situation where perhaps you felt you didn't fully step into your power, and reimagining it and reimagining it. The story, oh wow, some of the work of Byron Katie coming in with this too, like the story that you tell yourself. What's the story you're telling yourself? And she's not the only one that speaks about this. A lot of legit motivational speakers who wouldn't even call themselves that when they're legit, okay? I'm just gonna leave it at that, speak about this as well. So this is about stepping into a creator-creatrix energy. Yeah, they're showing me the magician. And I'm seeing the energy here of it coming from the heart space. So there's a lot of growth here. We've got, again, 4, 4, 8, self-development, right? The development of the soul and focusing on the heart, because I am seeing the lemniscate with the heart in the center of this energy of back and forth, the duality that we have here in this 3D plane, the light, the shadow, and how we are transmuting this, the dance between both. All to get us, again, in alignment with our highest and greatest good. Okay. And you know, when you add a 6 and an 8 together, because this is what we got with 33 and 44, you get 14 again. You get the energy of moderation when we crack the deck. Opportunity through crisis, movement, alchemy, okay? Yeah, Page of Pentacles in reverse. I'm hearing we stunt our growth. We stunt our own growth, okay? Yeah, 7 of Swords in reverse. Coming out of this illusion. Coming out of the illusion of the indoctrination and the programming. Oh, that one wanted to pop out. Yeah. Okay, they want me to keep on just... There's something in this 2 of Wands that's coming through. Whoa, very differently. Okay, they're telling me to take these 2. These go at the bottom of the deck. Okay, we got this Hermit energy coming out again. This is... Okay, so here we go. Oh my God, I don't even know how to start with this. Okay, so I'm hearing the song I Can See Clearly Now. The rain is gone. I can see all obstacles in my way. They're presenting this 2 of Wands in reverse as, okay. The ideas of the things that we believe or think we ought to strive for in this 3D matrix reality, specifically connected though to the programming, the indoctrination, examples like a house, kids, picket fence, American dream is what I'm hearing. All those kind of things where it's like the things that you think you need to strive for, the things that you think you need to be happy. And now they're pointing me to the fact that this is at a deeper level for the empath collective and the empath journey, having to do with the things that we think should make us emotionally happy, the relationships in our lives that should make us happy. And because of all the transformation that has been happening for a while now, and the shifts taking place, and if you are on a spiritual journey, the ego deaths that take place with regard to that, and there can be more than one, there are multiple ones, right? The cyclical nature of healing coming up here. This energy is coming through as a reevaluation of the vision that you had versus the truth of the vision that is in alignment with your soul, your heart, your highest and greatest good. And to do that, you need to go within. You need to take the light into the darkness, okay? This Hermit energy coming out again. This had come through in the last Transmission Tuesday's message with regard to this inner journey, taking the light, shedding light on the darkness, going within. I'm also getting a lot of huge support here from our guides coming in for this, okay? And going deep into that journey with this Chariot coming out with this Hermit card, okay? The Chariot energy is also an energy of willpower, coming back to this communication, okay? This is a journey into your own willpower, our own willpower, in order for us to be able to actually, again, the energies of Archangel Sandalphon and also Archangel Raphael coming through for this message too. I'm getting that as well, because there's so much healing with this. And Archangel Sandalphon really taking this energy of, reminding us of this energy of putting the spiritual into the mundane, taking the spiritual, our spark, our souls, our fire, and actually putting it into the day-to-day things we do. Imbuing our willpower with that. He's actually showing me that when you do this shadow work, when you do this alchemy, when you do this healing and transformation, this willpower exchange or change, is how he's presenting it to me, happens effortlessly. There is no such thing as this old idea of what we have around willpower, like having to force something. It happens effortlessly. And that's where we come back to this balance of the divine masculine and the divine feminine with that. Because our concept of willpower, part of the way that we've been indoctrinated around willpower, is a very masculine heavy and also distorted, because it's masculine heavy with lack of balance, idea of what willpower is in terms of forcing something in a way that is not connected to our center, okay? That is imbalanced. I hope you understand that, get that energy of that, yeah. Because this whole process can feel incredibly discombobulating, for lack of a better way of putting it. But it literally is about your world being turned upside down. When I see the World card like that, they're actually showing me the underworld. They're showing me the energies of the void, of the shadow, of the psyche, of going deeper into that energy, okay? And it's no coincidence that in the energy of the Chariot card, we have a dark horse and a light horse. There is a lot, actually, you know what? They want me to end it on this. They want me to hold this card up. And whether it's this image or in the Rider-Waite-Smith and Pamela's Genius, the image of the Chariot in that card, to really meditate on that. And understand that, this is interesting. So the Chariot is key 7, the energy of going deeper, right? There's also an alchemical energy, interestingly enough, connected to 7 as well. This is what they're showing me. And when you see there are 3 figures here, so we've got 3 aspects almost of self, you could say, right? You know, our soul, our higher consciousness, some would even say heart, okay? And then the light and the dark. And when you take those 3 aspects of self, right, and you add it to 7, you get a 10, which is, again, the Wheel of Fortune, right? So this is around, again, switching something up. Switching something up again. Okay. Yeah, they want me to end it there. Thank you to the Crow and to the Raven Spirit for coming through for these messages. I thank you for being here, for sharing your time and your energy with us in this space. And I'm sending you so much love, wherever you are, in love and liberation always.